be sure to cook. Welcome back to another show of Be Sure to Cook. Today, we're going to be cooking beef and noodle, homemade. So stay tuned and let's do this. Okay, today we're going to be starting off with ground beef. You can use ground beef or ground chuck, any one you want, and it's ground. So I'm starting off with 1.5 pounds of ground beef, and we're going to fry this up in some garlic. So let's do it. Okay, I've got a silver pot here on medium, and I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil in there, and that's light. And I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of chopped garlic. If you don't have chopped garlic, then you can also chop it yourself. That's up a little too high. I'm going to add in my ground beef. I'm getting it all in there with that garlic. Now I'm going to add in some more garlic, but I'm adding in just a little bit of powdered garlic and Mrs. Dash. I'm going to add in a little of paprika, just a little bit, and then some fresh cracked pepper or regular pepper, it's whatever you have. I use a lot of cracked, I like it better, and I like ground too. I mean, but I don't know, I just like turning the cracker and cracking that pepper. Okay, and then I'm just gonna, this is on low. I put this on low so I can get all those seasons in there. Then I'm gonna just turn this up on a medium, and I'm just gonna let this baby brown up and cook. Okay, so while this is browning up, we got another pan over here that we're gonna be putting this on low, medium actually. And I'm gonna use about a cup of water. Okay, my cup of water. And then I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. I use sea salt, so a pinch of salt to me is like, sea salt is like a little bit bigger, or you can use any type of salt you want, but this is what I use because I don't have to use as much and it's natural. Iodine salt is really not good for you, but if you like using it, you can continue. But for me, it's not good. Actually, I have high blood pressure and I really don't need salt at all. If I'm going to use salt, I'd rather use something natural. I'm using 2 cups of milk. Most people use whole milk, and that's fine if you want to use whole milk, but I'm not going to use whole milk. I'm going to use 2%, but you can use whole, and whole is much better if you want to use whole. But I use 2%, or you can even use skim milk or 1% milk. It's totally up to how you want yours, because I'm going to be making a cream sauce and I want it creamy. So if you want to, you can also use canned milk if you don't have any milk, as long as you dilute that with water. So for every canned milk, you can put a can of water to it. So like if you pour the can, add about it'll tell you on the back of it. So you can also use that too. So, but the more cream, which canned milk is much creamier, it makes your dish more creamy, and I like cream. So I'm gonna heat this up because when it starts to boil, I'm gonna put my noodles in it. I'm probably gonna add some more water. Another cup of water. So actually this is 2 cups of water to 2 cups of milk, half and half, and a pinch of salt. Let's get this up to boil and let's get our noodles together. Okay, I have my milk getting ready to boil away. I'm getting ready to add a can of beef broth. Like I said, you can get any kind of beef broth you like. I use a lot of low sodium because I already put that salt in there. It was just a teeny bit of salt because I have high blood pressure and I can't eat a lot of salt. But that's me. Everybody in my family doesn't have that. It's just me. So if they want salt, they can put salt. So what I do before I do this, I'm gonna shake this up really, really good to get all the beef broth and all the fats or whatever they have in here, which they do. And I like this canned beef broth. I really do, because it tastes more to me than the big jugs. It tastes more real, and it looks more real, and it is more real, because you know I deal with food a lot, and I know what close. See, look at that. That is the natural beef fat that's on there. So this is like I'm going to add 1 whole can of this beef broth into my milk and my water. So that's a can of that, and this can is probably a cup. So I'm at another cup, so that's why I didn't add all that, but I want that milky sensation. Okay, so after we've done that, we're gonna let that come to a simmer boil, and we're gonna get our noodles. Okay, I'm getting egg noodles, and usually I use wide, or you can use extra wide. And I thought, you know, extra wide and wide, they take up so much sauce and they get really, really big. And a nice medium noodle is fine. So I'm gonna use a medium noodle. And I'm thinking I'm gonna use about 2 cups. It depends on how many people you wanna see. So I'm gonna use about 4 cups of noodles. When I said 2 cups, guys, that means 2 cups filled up. But I'm gonna use about 4 cups because it's a small noodle, and I'm feeding about 4 people here, and they like big dishes. You know me, I like a little bowl. They like big bowls. So I'm gonna do 4 cups of these noodles, and they're just medium size. So I mean, if you really measure it out, because they're gonna swell up. So I'm using this small bowl here, and I'm gonna fill it up. It's 4 cups of the, you know, medium-sized noodles. Let's get this into the milk water. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add my noodles. I hope I didn't make too. Hope it ain't too much. Look like I did a lot. Okay, so let's get those in there. And if that seems like that, you might need a bigger container. This is a very small one. You can add more milk or more water, which I'm going to be adding more milk to it because it's going to come up. And I'm going to bring this to a boil, because this I'm going to start adding. I'm going to go ahead and drain my meat. And after I drain my meat, we're going to come back to this. Okay, I just switched this to a bigger pot because I'm putting more in. This is where I cook the hamburger in, and the hamburger I still got little pieces of the hamburger meat in here. I strained the burger meat, but I needed this in a bigger pan. It was a small pan and I needed a bigger. So I'm gonna wash this pan out because I'm gonna make a sauce. Okay, so I've got the noodles going together, and I drained, I don't know why I said strain. I drained my meat, which I'm still draining it. Trying to get all that oil out. Then I'm gonna put my hamburger meat back into this. Okay. And then I'm gonna cook my noodles with my beef and get this up to boil. Stirring that up. I'm gonna let this simmer so the noodles can cook properly. Let's make the sauce. Okay, I add about a teaspoon of the hamburger grease to a tablespoon and 1/2, a whole tablespoon and 1/2 teaspoon of flour. And I'm going to make a roux. And I'm going to cook this flour. flour. Put a little salt and pepper if you want. I like garlic, so this is garlic powder that I put in there. You know, the same seasons I put into when I first put it in. And it's up a little high. Let me turn my heat down. We don't want to burn it. That's the seasoning. We want to cook it though. Gonna cook all that flour out. Take that off the heat. Great, because I want that thickness. And then we're going to be adding a little of that milk. And we're going to thicken up that seasoning. Thicken up all the flour and seasoning, and it's going to make it like a little gravy. But guess what, guys? I'm going to be adding, this will be my gravy that I'm making. Then I'm going to add an Au Jus pack and an enhancer is what I'll call another brown gravy pack. If you don't have those things, you can just use the gravy that I'm making and you can season it up. See, it's getting thick? That's what I want. That's what I want. I'm going to take this off. Now let's get the other things together. Okay, then I've got my Au Jus pack because it makes it more, I call it an enhancer, and everybody has their own like little things. You don't really need that gravy mix, but if you need it, if you wanted to do that, you can. I always just buy extra packs for enhance, but I'm using an Au Jus pack because Au Jus is like, you know, an Au Jus sauce, and it gets thick like a gravy. So I'm just going to mix this up with milk. So I'm putting about half cup of milk to this Au Jus, and I'm mixing it up with my fork, making sure I get all of it, you know, incorporated really good in here. There are no lumps or anything. Then I'm just going to pour this inside of what I've already made. And I'm just going to mix this all together. Look at there. I need to get all this out of my bowl. Okay, I cooked this down and ready. I'm going to add another cup of milk. I'm trying to look for that cream filling. And here's this sauce that I mixed. I'm going to pull this sauce package. Well, they call it a package. You remember that package they do when you do it with the, this is homemade, but I'm gonna mix mine into my beef noodle. And I wanted that milk to give that creamy sensation. So I'm just gonna mix all this up like so. And guys, if you need some salt or whatever, you know, you can put your own salt in there. Okay, I'm going to get the rest of it out. I got this on low, and what I did is I took another Au Jus pack and I just sprinkled it all in here, turning it, mixing it up so it won't clump up, and it came out perfect. It didn't clump up. Then I'm going to add some parsley to your taste. Parsley gives it that green, you know, you have a little green in there. It looks so good. I'm going to mix this up with the parsley. You can put as much as parsley as you want in there. Put a little, put a lot, you know, till you see a little green flakes floating around. I'm going to let that simmer real low, on real low. And then sometimes you don't have to let those noodles simmer like that. All you have to do is just put a top on it and let it just steam. And it'll thicken up and the noodles will thicken up. And I want mine creamy. See, this is like a creamy sensation. And that Au Jus pack that's in there, well, one I mixed with my gravy, and the other one I just kind of, you know, shook in there and turned and stirred as I went, so I wouldn't cook it, you know, have big lumps. So I wanted to really mix in there. I'm putting a teaspoon of a bouillon roasted beef based in there. You can get that at your any Kroger's or any store, grocery store. Just don't have to be Kroger's, and you look for those. It's a bouillon based. You can get that. They got beef, chicken, and what I'm gonna do is I'm using my grandson's. I'm gonna put a little in here, and I'm gonna mix this with already some that's already hot. Then I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna mix it all together with all of it. So I just needed to mix that, right? And that's real dark. And then I'm gonna put it back into here and mix it into a big pot. So I'm using about a teaspoon of that, because this is a big, large pot. And that's why this stuff is really powerful, really strong. And it gives you a really big beef flavor if you don't have enough. Now, if you have enough, that's fine. I like it the way I did it, but my son said no, it needs more beef flavor. I mean, I said, well, okay, I put a little bit, but that's a trick if you think that's too mild. Some people taste buds are a little stronger, some people's are a little weaker. And I take this, and I'm just going to mix this all around. Make sure it's distributed evenly. Distribute it evenly. Yeah, I hope I'm saying that right. And then you put a top on there, let it sit, and it'll do its own cooking because it's still really hot. And what I do is I take it off the heat and I let it steam, like seal the pot top, and it about 15 minutes. It's time to eat. Before I plate this, I do want to talk to you about, make sure you do get the Better Than You bouillon cube. It's not bouillon cubes, it's roasted bouillon base flavor. But this is what it looks like. Make sure you add 2 teaspoons to that, because this is very strong. So I'm gonna say teaspoon, or keep adding it until you like the flavor you like. Make sure you also add 2 packs of Au Jus. Sorry, I had to get the pack. Make sure you get 2 packs of Au Jus and also add it in while you're making your gravy and putting that in there with it. So what we did is we cut the heat off and we just let it steam, sealing it, and then we let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes. And this is what it looks like, because it has to cook the parsley, because I'm using dry parsley. And here it's still creamy, guys. Look at that. It's still creamy inside. On the outside where it, you know, kind of cook and settle, and in the middle, oh, it's still creamy. So let's plate this up. Let's plate this up. Put this right here in the middle to make it look very good. You know, you're supposed to have a good presentation. I'm not really good at that. I tried to be, though. So let's put a little bit in here. And it's homemade. You know, you don't have to go get those, what do you call those packs or boxes you get. You can do all this at home. Believe me, before they came out with this stuff, you know, in the packs and the boxes and all that good stuff, my mom used to work for a lady years ago, and she used to have like a daycare, and she made all this stuff herself. I don't know how it got on the market where everybody started making it, but this was back in the 70s and 60s and stuff. So this lady has been having it for a long time. So I'm putting some dry parsley just to make a presentation that looks good around the plate and on top. And there you go. There it is, beef and noodle, homemade, with enhancers. And the enhancers is the, you know, the base cube and the Au Jus packs. Okay, here you go. Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And come back and join us again for another episode of Whatever We Cooking. Because whatever we cooking, I'm not cooking it alone. You cooking it with me. You know who made this dish? It wasn't me alone. It was me and you. Me and you, we made this together, and we always gonna make great dishes. So come back and see us. Love you all. Join us next time. Bye.